Hi, this is Manishka Jessica, host of Luco T Podcast. Thank you for tuning into Luco T Podcast. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being audience of Luco T Podcast. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. Thank you to all those that have already subscribed. I have a harsh truth that I realize. It's a hurtful one, but it was about Ursula Van. It's it's just a harsh truth. Okay. Please keep in mind it's something that I thought about when I look at her credential and I looked at her accomplishment. Then I came to realize it's just the cold, clean truth about Ursula Van and how the system choose to treat her. It disturbed me. Um, I think all those that are around her, if they can love on her and just always remind her she's special. Okay. Ursula Vance didn't come from the world that built the stage, but she walked onto it anyway. When she got there, the audience looked away. They saw her, sure, but they didn't see her. Not in the way they claim to celebrate women, not in the way they scream about tradition and dignity and family value. She wasn't the version they wanted. She stood beside the man they praised, loyal, composed, quiet, steady. But it didn't matter because they already had decided she wasn't for them. She doesn't offend them. She doesn't scare them. She simply doesn't belong to their fantasy. That's what makes her invisible to them. They didn't ignore her by accident. This wasn't a glitch. It was designed this way because the story they're selling doesn't have room for someone like her in the picture. She could play the part as she does. She shows up in the right clothes. We all see that. She say nothing wrong. Everyone can see that. She's she's everything they told a woman to be. But it still isn't enough because she doesn't look like what they were selling. It's not about how she acts. It's not about what she believes. It's not even about what she say. It's about what she is. They didn't plan for her. They didn't expect her. And when she arrived anyway, they quietly shove her to the edge of the frame. There's no scandal, no headlines, just silence. A kind of silence that feels deliberate. A kind of silence that say, you're here, but not for us. She's not too loud. She's not too bold. She's not trying to change their mind. She just exists. Even that's too much. They don't attack her. That would require engagement. They don't praise her. That would require inclusion. They just disregard her. The people who chant about values, they have nothing to say. The ones who scream about patriotism and tradition, not a word. Not a word. A word. Because when someone fits the role, but not the face, the system breaks down. Instead of fixing it, they just pretend she's not standing there. Ursula, didn't fail to win them over. They never planned to let her in. She's not rejected for being wrong. She's rejected for being inconvenient. Her existence forced them to face something they don't want to admit. Their ideas are narrow, and their stage isn't open to everyone. Even as she played the part respectfully, they don't lift her up. Even as she mirrors the values they preach, they act like she's invisible. Because in their eyes, the role wasn't meant for her. It was meant for someone else, someone familiar. Her presence make the brand hard to sell. She stands too close to their power. She interrupts the visual they've crafted. That makes her a liability, not in what she say, but in how she looks standing there. And so they make her disappear politely, quietly, efficiently, just enough to keep the picture clean. They don't post her, they don't quote her, they don't talk about her. They move past her like she's scenery, not a person. She didn't ask to be a symbol, but they made her absent one. A living reminder that you can do everything right and still be unwelcome. She doesn't fit it publicly. She doesn't call it out. That makes it easier for them to justify it. Like maybe she's perfect. Maybe she preferred that way. And you guys remember, you hear a lot of that. She preferred to be in the background. She's private. She prefer family over the light. She's quiet, which means powerful. She doesn't like the spotlight. She likes to be in the background. That's preference. That's how she prefer it. But we know better. We can see the silence around her. You can feel it. It's not passive. It's targeted. And anyone that have dealt with this invisible, and you know it's targeted. Anyone that ever gotten in position where you just didn't look like it, baby, hold on tight. Anyone that ever been there, you can just glance and know what it is, the real deal with her. She doesn't have to tell you. She's not erased because she's nothing. She's erased because she means too much in the wrong direction. She breaks the aesthetics. This wasn't a missed opportunity. It was an intentional dismissal. They had the perfect opening to expand the image. They refused because their dream was never about family value or faith. It was about control. She doesn't match the phenotype they they're willing to protect. If she were louder, they'll call her decisive. If she were prouder, they'll call her radical. Because she's quiet, they call her nothing at all. And maybe that's the most violent kind of rejection. Not the one that burns you, but the one that erases you. Usula will keep showing up, but they won't cheer for her. They won't center her because she wasn't who they imagined next to power, and they can't adjust the lens. She's not their idea. She never was, and they're not hiding it. They just plain don't care for her. And that's the harsh truth. That is the brutal truth. So when I'm like, wow, y- the thing that kind of got me is when I just noticed, why would she not want to be seen, heard? Why would she come out there with the husband and kids and saying she preferred the background? I mean, it was like silliness. It was a lot of malarkiness with her. Like she hold a book in her hand. It was like they was taking the lens of the camera, zooming on a book, you know. And here she was, because these things are by design. I think the poor thing didn't realize that there are people that are really calculating. And he came to the party with something that was not part of the script. Now, they couldn't make it go away because they were married, they had kids and everything. It's just aesthetically, it was not what they were selling. Okay. Since it's not what they're selling, hold a book over there, you know. Um, you had people that would come out, praise her look, but most of the people that praised her look were open-minded people, and you would find out you had a few on the other side, but I bet you bottom dollar they were liberals, the ones that pretty much praised her. But the extremely conservative, they wouldn't. No, no, no. She just no. That is not what they sell. No, no, no. And so it it pained me to see that. And I'll tell you why it pained me. Because number one, she is probably one of the females, the second lady, that has a lot of pedigree. And pedigree is degrees. And so what that means to me, she had a beautiful brain, but that brain meant nothing to them because she was not what they envisioned in that part. It didn't matter. She had those heavyweight Ivy League school. They didn't care about that. And what is so cruel to me was that it didn't matter that she came from extremely well educated parents. They didn't care about that neither. And the reason they didn't care about that because they were written off as immigrants. And as you can see, whenever they talk about her, she's always dismissed as um, an, an American Indian. They always tag that Indian on it. They never take that out. They always tag that with her. First generation, you know, it's like, it was like seeing erasure. Not only was erasure being seen on a big stage, but it was painful because all I could think about was, I hope this woman has a real strong circle around her to love on her. Okay? Because she married into it, and to keep her grounded and to always be there, because they do have her doing some kind of ridiculous thing. The poor thing's looking uncomfortable in some of the clothes they have her in. And I'm like, Ursula, you just don't get it. It's nothing you said, it's nothing you did. You just don't fit the mold of what they're talking about. You are not what they market into. Actually, you are what we would consider part of the invisible world. You're invisible, my dear. All those degrees mean absolutely nothing, Ursula. You know, your mom and dad being well educated, having some money, mean absolutely nothing, you know. So at the end of the day, whatever whoever put them together, whatever it is that they were trying to accomplish, I would consider the mission failed, because they were trying to do an inclusion. Maybe they were trying to broaden the base. And of course, maybe some of the Indian Americans thought that, okay, she's there. We'll welcome into the camp. We all saw how Vivek got treated. We all saw how they treated the other one. What's her name? Haley. We saw how Haley got treated. And then Ursula was even a bigger platform, you know, second lady, you know, got all the right credential. Education wise, probably tier A1, A1 in intellect. Beautiful brain, all those pedigree, high end schools. This ain't a woman that was around the corner. This is a very, very, very bright woman. But it means nothing if you don't meet the aesthetic. That was something I was shocked when I started to see that. And I would tell, I could look at certain groups. I was like, you don't get it? It don't matter what you say, what you do. You don't meet whatever it is the mold is for them over there. You just don't meet it. It don't matter. There's nothing you're gonna say. There's nothing you're gonna do to meet that mold over there. And you didn't do anything wrong. You just don't make the cut. That's all it is. If you don't make the cut, you just don't make the cut. And they don't plan to change. That's just who they are. You be you. You're not gonna change that. You know, is what it is. And that is something that's not really talked about much. It's like the social contract we all agree upon, but no one actually openly speak about it. But it does pain for me to see her sometimes. I'm like, poor Usula, poor lady. You just be you. Be you. Stop making them dress you in these silly clothes. Stop having them wear these clothes that where it looks uncomfortable on your skin. You're doing things, you're looking like deer caught in the headlights situation, you know, and they keep you in the background a lot. You might as well just stay there. Cause why go where you're not wanted? You know? I mean, you're not even tolerated, to be honest with you. You're just used as scenery, you know. Scenery would be like the curtain in the background, maybe a chair, because as fast as they do it, they'll flick past you within mere seconds. I don't think they even bother, you know. And look, anyone that's around this lady, please cover her with love, love on her, let her know it's nothing she said, nothing she did. It is what it is. That's the reality. So what I want to do here, I want to thank you for tuning into Luco T podcast. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being in the audience of Luco T podcast. Thank you for subscribing to this channel, and thank everyone that already subscribed to this channel. It's one of these things, I'm like, whew, you know, I send nothing but love your way, Usula. You put in a very no-win situation, my dear. Thank you so much. Bye.